Alright, YouTubers, welcome back to War Thunder with the Angry Nerd. Today we're going to be taking a look at the American M3 Lee medium tank. The medium tank M3 was an American tank used during World War II. In Britain, the tank was called by two names based on the turret configuration. Tanks employing U.S. pattern turrets were called General Lee, named after Confederate General Robert E. Lee. Variants using British pattern turrets were known as General Grants, named after the U.S. General Ulysses S. Grant. In 1939, the U.S. Army possessed approximately 400 tanks, mostly M2 light tanks, with less than 100 of the discontinued M2 medium tanks. The U.S. funded tank development poorly during the interwar years and had no infrastructure for production, little experience in design, and poor doctrine to guide design efforts. The M2 series medium tank was typical of armored fighting vehicles many nations produced in 1939. Although not at war, the U.S. was paying close attention to developments in Europe. The Panzer III and Panzer IV's success in the French campaign led the U.S. Army to conclude that the M2 design, with its 37mm gun and 32mm of frontal armor, to be obsolete. U.S. Army immediately ordered a new medium tank armed with a 75mm gun and a turret. This would be the M4 Sherman. Until the Sherman could be put into production, an interim design with a 75mm gun was urgently needed. The M3 was the solution. The design was unusual because the main weapon, a large caliber, low velocity 75mm gun, was in an offset sponson mounted in the hull with limited traverse. The sponson mount was necessary because at the time American tank plants were incapable of casting a turret big enough to take the 75mm main gun. A small turret with a lighter, high-velocity 37mm gun sat on the hull. A small cupola on top of the turret held a machine gun. Using a hull-mounted gun, the M3 design was produced quicker than if the turret-mounted gun design had been manufactured. Meanwhile, the British need for equipment was mounting, with them losing much of their equipment and supplies on the beaches near Dunkirk. The British had requested that their Matilda and Crusader tank designs be made in American factories, but this request was declined. However, the U.S. was willing to produce, sell, and ship armored vehicles to Britain. British experts had viewed a mock-up of the M3 in 1940 and identified features which they considered flaws. The British urgently needed tanks, and even though they considered the M3 design flawed and were not entirely satisfied with the design, they ordered the M3 in large numbers. They did, however, request modifications for the tank that they were purchasing. With these modifications accepted, the British ordered 1,250 M3s. The order was subsequently increased with the expectation that when the M4 Sherman was available, it could replace part of the order. The prototype was completed in March 1941, and production models followed, with the first British specification tanks produced in July. Both U.S. and British tanks had thicker armor than first planned. The M3 brought much needed firepower to British forces in the North African Desert Campaign. After extensive losses in Africa and Greece, the British realized that to meet their needs for tanks, both the Lee and Grant types would need to be accepted. Of the 6,258 M3s produced by the U.S., 2,855 M3s were supplied to the British Army, and about 1,386 to the Soviet Union. The American M3 medium tanks' first action during the war was in 1942 during the North African Campaign. British Lees and Grants were in action against Rommel's forces at the Battle of Gazella on 27 May that year. Their appearance was surprise to the Germans, who were unprepared for the M3's 75mm gun. They soon discovered the M3 could engage them beyond the effective range of the Pak-38, their 50mm anti-tank gun, and of their KWK-39, forming the main armament of the Panzer Mark III, their main battle tank. The M3 was also vastly superior to the Fiat M13/40 and M14/41 employed by the Italian troops, whose 47mm gun was effective only at point-blank range. Grants and Lees served in North Africa until the end of the campaign. In all three areas, the M3 was able to engage both German tanks and towed anti-tank guns. Among the problems experienced with the M3 was that the tall silhouette and low hull-mounted 75mm were tactical drawbacks, since they prevented the tank from fighting from a hull-down firing position. Overall, the M3 was able to cope with the battlefield of 1942. Its armor and firepower were equal or superior to most of the threats it faced, especially in the Pacific. Long-range, high-velocity guns were not yet common on German tanks in the theater. The rapid pace of development meant that the M3 was very quickly outclassed. By mid-1942, with the introduction of the German Tigers and the upgun of the Panzer IVs to a long 75mm gun, and further in 1943 with the appearance of the Panthers, along with the availability of large numbers of M4 Shermans, the M3 was withdrawn from service in the European theater. Now in War Thunder, the M3 is a Rank-1 with a battle rating of 2.7. It has a 400 horsepower engine propelling the 27.7-ton vehicle to a top speed of 24 miles per hour. It comes equipped with a 37mm M5 cannon and a 75mm M2 cannon with a reload of 3.1 seconds. It is also equipped with two 7.62mm machine guns. So this vehicle is a pleasant upgrade from the American reserves. It's got a little more armor and a lot more firepower, but it's less mobile and you tend to get flanked a lot. So it's a good stopgap until you can get your hands on that M4A1. So that's enough history on the M3 and the Grant. Let's hop into a battle and see what we can do with one here in War Thunder. Oh, right. White Rock Fortress. If you've seen my previous videos, you know I like this map. Exciting. Ooh. All right. Let's go. Okay. To battle. Here we go. Little traffic jam. Pull in behind this other M3. Hopefully we will have good luck. I like those machine guns. And you're really seeing the top speed here of this M3. About 24 miles per hour. I feel like I'm crawling. Maybe we'll get it going a little bit faster down the hill. When people figure out what I'm doing back here in this section, they'll eventually start countering it. I'm going to start having to find something else to do. But I'm going to come back here and kill folks until they figure it out. Oh, let's go up the hill. Didn't see anything down there. Just come on over. Check this way. Sneak a little peek around. Ooh, what's that? Let's see. Excellent. Move over just a little bit more. Just got to remember, you got to keep the nose of this thing pointed at the enemy to bring that 75 millimeter to bear. Oh, there's something else. What is that? Oh, it's another M3. Somebody already got him. Something else. Looks like a BT-7. A 37 should be able to handle him. Here we go. Oh, they're dropping arty on me. Time to move. Teammates already across the hill there, but The M3 is not maneuverable enough for me to want to get into that close of combat with them. And when they spawn in, they're invincible. So there you go. Let's just shoot the other guy. Hey, there's somebody else. Nice. I'm gonna have to go out and peek around this corner. He wants to fight back a little bit. Where did he go? Oh, he's coming over the hill. I must have messed up his turret drive. And the friendly T-34 came around and helped me out. I do not mind, because I could have got flanked. Get into close combat with these quicker little vehicles, and I was hoping to knock his engine out. I'm switching to the 75. Switching back. This dude is taking a lot of damage. Finally. Good gracious. Uh-oh. They know I'm here. Just backing up, take a look, see if anybody's coming over this hill. Now I'll inch forward and see what else I can see. Nothing that way. Huh. You see that friendly tank fall off the hill up there? That's funny. He landed on his tracks though. It's good for him. Because I would not cross that open area to go help him. What we got here? Both of these guys look dead. Got somebody coming out through here. Two people. Go for this guy first. There you go. Little Panzer's right there in front of me. I don't see anybody getting him, so I'm gonna have to come over here and do it myself. Hello. There you go. Welcome to War Thunder. Oh, who's this? Try to get that engine and keep him stopped. There you go. Okay, I'm just taking a break for a minute. Oh, wait. That's no good. That's no good. Uh-oh, he's behind me. He's behind me. Where'd he... Oh, he should have pressed that advantage. I think it's... Have some 75. Oh, not good enough. There we go. It's offering me some bombers, but it's too much action around here. T-34 up on top of the hill there. Just having a look around, make sure nobody's sneaking up behind me. Friendly right there. All right. Game over. Let's see what we did. Ground units destroyed, 10. We picked up the Avenger, 1 shot, teamwork, professional, shadow strike streak, ground wind streak, and anti-mech. And 10 ground units destroyed and came in 5th. Huh. 22,457. These guys must have got some points capping. But that's okay. We need people to cap. Because if you don't get people to cap, you don't win the game. So I'm just fine with being down below these guys. They were up there holding that cap circle down. I was trying to help them out by keeping the enemy from making it to the cap circle. So that was a pretty good result for the M3 Lee. If you liked the video, like it. If you didn't, don't. Subscribe if you would. Also, could you hop on over to Facebook, leave me a like there, give me a follow on Twitter. I would really appreciate that as well. But as always, thanks for watching. Nerd out.